What's the plan for the summer? Because you've got Bilbao, then you've got Buatsi, then you've got Cordina in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Then what's happening?
So then we've got June the 10th in Mexico. Then we've got June the 25th in San Antonio. Then we're about to announce July 9th at the O2. Then we've got another 2 shows in August in the UK. Then we've got AJ, probably July 23rd. Then we've got Canelo Alvarez September 17th. And then we're going to launch in Australia in September. I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't know, Dom. I mean, all I know is that this week, on Friday, we will weigh in just up the road. And then we will jump on a plane and go to Bilbao for the big fight.
Oh, you're doing that as well?
And then we'll finish and then we'll fly back for the O2. What a life.
I was going to say because I presume that with this being here and you might have to send, I want
to go to Bilbao because Le Haraja's got great fans and there'll be a great atmosphere and it's a great fight against Metcalf. Plus you've got Moorcroft and you've got Rhiannon Dixon, you've got Crolla over there. So these international shows are providing great, not just great in terms of value for the DAZN subscribers, but just great for the growth of global boxing.
We've spent a part of this week with Rhiannon and James, with Anthony training them and all the rest of it, because you know the story, but we're all over that in terms of his fledgling coaching career now. And these two that are so delighted to get this opportunity. I mean, obviously Rhiannon signed a deal with yourselves, but James is getting an opportunity on a Matchroom show, so it's big for him. I mean, how important is it that you are extending into these territories and these young UK fighters are getting these opportunities?
But important for many reasons. One is because you need the volume of shows to be able to advance a massive stable of talent. 2, because it's so good for a fighter's experience and just a learning and understanding of the sport. I mean, on Friday, you've got 2 different fighters and 2 different situations. You've got Rhiannon Dixon, who is a massive favourite, and he's not there to get beat, and he's not there to fight a tough Spaniard. But what an incredible experience for her. And then you've got Moorcroft, who's in deep against a Spaniard, not in his backyard, but he's right up against it. But as you've seen from fighters that have gone over and won those kind of fights, it changes the direction of their career. And also for James Moorcroft, he's got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. It's not like he's defending, this reputation in the UK where he's a box office star. He can go over there, make his money, make a mark on the sport. If he gets the win, he's back on our shows in the UK, and all of a sudden his career's... But what a great experience. I mean, I'm so excited for Crolla, going over there and being really in the away corner, not for Rhiannon, but... and he's going to be living and breathing every second of it.
Well, he is. And obviously the main event on the night as well. We've spent time at the Rotunda with JJ Metcalf. Huge opportunity. You've already touched on the fact that in Bilbao and the fan base that La Haraja has, and it's a bit of a football crowd again. It's their version of a Josh Warrington or a Ricky Hatton. But he's so up for it as well. It kind of turns his life around, doesn't it?
I mean, look, Metcalf, I feel a bit for Metcalf because he's been slung in the deep end. I mean, he had a fight of the year with Cheeseman, which was incredible. Then he lost to Kieran Conway, straight off the bat, got slung into that. Now he's fighting Le Haraja. He had the little win in Manchester recently. I actually think he's got a great chance in this fight because Le Haraja has shown against Jez Smith, where he went down twice. Jez Smith, good little tricky fighter, but Metcalf can punch, he's dangerous, but he will stand in front of you. And that's great news for the fans, but also it's going to be an absolute war. And what has Metcalf got left? Well, I think he's going to roll the dice for one last time and show everybody what he's got left. He can win the fight. He really can. Might be a riot if he does. So we'll see what happens.
This one now, Buatsi-Richards, we know it's 2 South London boys, very similar in terms of where they're from. They came through together, kind of amateurs, they sparred. But again, the kind of storyline is that Josh has been looked after. And Craig has had it the hard way. I mean, are you buying into that? Because Joshua would argue against that.
Look, when a very good amateur signs a lucrative professional deal, it's because they've earned it through their achievements in the amateurs. So you can't say they haven't earned it, but the reality is when you're a great amateur, you do get things easier than you do if you weren't. And Craig Richards was a good amateur, but Craig Richards had to go to small hall shows. He had to fight Frank Buglioni for the British title on 1 week's notice. He had to step up and fight Dimitri Bivol really before he was ready to fight Dimitri Bivol. And he wanted to make that point clear at the head-to-head. Now, Buatsi didn't like it. And there's 2 sides to Joshua Buatsi. There's a humble, respectful, very nice individual, and then there's a horrible, horrible son of a bitch that gets in the ring. And I think we're already seeing that from Buatsi. So I would like you, when you interview him today, just to goad him a little bit in regards to those comments from Craig Richards, and see what response you get, because we want a fiery presser. And this is the battle of Crystal Palace, of Croydon, of South London, but it's also got massive ramifications on a global level. You know, of course, with Dimitri Bivol's great win last week.
It is a derby, but it doesn't seem to have that kind of fear of losing to your rival, like maybe a Liam Smith, Anthony Fowler.
Yeah.
They seem absolutely...
I just think because they're not right. You know, they've never been rivals growing up. They quite like each other. There's just been a few words that have been said back and forwards, and now it's not. I guess it's personal because it's a fight, but they just want to win. Yeah. And Buatsi, I know, will want to do a job on Craig Richards, and a lot of people in boxing feel like this is a 50-50. You know, to the more casual punter who has heard me and everybody ramp up Joshua Buatsi for the last 3 years, you think he's a favourite, but it's going to be a very, very interesting fight.
I think that sells itself. Certainly, very, very good trade fight. But if you're trying to shift a few tickets last minute, I don't know, what would you say
so
about
much
the
on the undercard? I mean, Chantel Cameron, who you know is a pound for pound quality fighter, defends her unified world championship against Victoria Bustos. Fight of the night for me could be Alan Babic against Adam Bałski. Babic now moving back to bridgerweight. Bałski's a very, very good young Polish fighter. That's another good 50-50 fight. Ellie Scotney's stepping up in a very tough fight against Cecilia Roman, who's a world champion for a long time, just lost to Ebony Bridges. Robbie Davis has got a very, very tough fight against Molina. He lost last time out to a Mexican when he faced one, come back with a great win against Hank Lundy. And beneath that, Chev Clark from the Tokyo Olympics, great talent. Cyrus Patterson from the GB podium squad. Charlotte De Freitas, great young talent as well. And John Hedges. So big card at the O2 and big weekend of boxing.
Just with Scotland, you mentioned Bridges there, and that's a fight that could happen down the line as well. Are you thinking about women's fights because of the obvious thing that we've just seen a couple of weeks ago?
I mean, we're in negotiations with Top Rank for Michaela Meyer against Baumgardner. You've got Chantel Cameron, could fight. Katie Taylor could fight Jessica McCaskill. You've got Ebony Bridges could rematch Shannon Courtney. You've got away from us Savannah Marshall, Clarissa. So many big fights to be made in women's boxing, and of course, off the back of the Katie Taylor fight, we want to keep that momentum.
Now, you mentioned the heavyweights before because you said July the 23rd. I think you said in terms of Joshua-Usyk. Is that Saudi? What's the plan?
Yeah, if we go July 23rd, it will be in the Middle East, and you will get an announcement next week. I think it's 9 weeks, so we're ready to go. Finalising the paperwork at the moment, but very likely that'll be the date for the big unified heavyweight world championship rematch. Any
other business with the heavyweights? I think Chisora's what's
Chisora's we got a great fight. I mean, we're just trying to get the other end of the contract signed. Chisora signed this morning, and if so, we'll announce that for July 9th at the O2. Tremendous fight.
Is it domestic?
No, international, and great fight. Once you see it announced, you know this can only be a war, and every time Del Boy steps in the ring, he gives it everything, and could be next for him.
And what's happening with Dillian? Is he jumping ship? Or?
No. I've spoke to him a couple of times. We're going to get together and look at options for him, and I think knowing Dillian, he'll want to get back in the ring as soon as possible.
And just a final one then, because we touched on it at the start, because you're moving all over the place now. What new territories are we going to see on Matchroom DAZN?
You're going to see another 2 or 3 territories this year, but the next immediate focus is Australia. We will be in Australia in September with a great fight. Really have seen a big growth in terms of boxing in Australia and also subscriber numbers on DAZN. So I will be out there in the summer to announce that fight, and we've already got 5 or 6 tremendous Australian talent and looking for them to box on that card and start our attack in the Australian market.
Just a final one on that. I mean, could that involve a Liam Smith, Tim Tszyu kind of situation?
Possibly. I think Tim Tszyu's trying to queue up now for the Charlo fight, but we've got Liam Paro, we've got Brock Jarvis, we've got Dempsey McKean, we've got Sky Nicholson, we've got Ebony Bridges. We've got so much talent from that region, and we're ready to attack.